Hey guys, it's Mike. Welcome to Marine Breeders Vlog number 6. Been a while since I've uploaded anything. Been kind of busy. We went to the MBI workshop at the end of July. I came back home, had some good ideas on some things that I picked up at the workshop. So I've been trying to put those ideas into action. Also, for a lot of you that probably don't know, my wife's hobby is she makes her own wine. And one of our good friends, who happens to be an aquarist at the Cleveland Metro Park Zoo, he has a small vineyard in his backyard. And due to the unusually warm winter that we had and warm spring and summer, the grapes are coming on about a month ahead of time. So we weren't really prepared for this, and it's kind of put me behind. I've been trying to get everything ready for that, so I haven't had time to sit down and get a video out. I want to talk just a little bit about the MBI workshop and what we did up there and the couple other places that we stopped. I went with my other friend who is also an aquarist at Cleveland Metro Park Zoo. His name's Nick Zarlinga. Some of you that were at the MBI workshop know him. We had a great time. I learned a lot. I cannot stress enough that if you are involved or have an interest in marine ornamental breeding, you really need to go to this. MACNA's a pretty cool show, but if you really are focused onto this part of the hobby, you really should go and try to make arrangements to the MBI workshop. It's held in Michigan every year, in the Detroit area, and MASM, which is the local club there, puts it on, and they do a great job. So anyways, on our trip, we decided that because of scheduling conflicts, we left early on Saturday morning. The workshop was supposed to start at 9:30 a.m. So being in Cleveland, we had quite a drive on our hands. It was around 3 hours or so. I started to film some stuff because I wanted to vlog the entire trip, and it just didn't work out. I didn't care for the footage, so I'm not going to put that footage in. But what I did do was I filmed the workshop itself, and I'm only going to give you guys some snippets just so that you can see what goes on and maybe make you a little jealous about what we got to see and talk about, and maybe next year we'll get to see you there also. So I get out to Nick's house, and it's wee hours of the morning. Mr. Zarlinga did not get any sleep, so needless to say, he got to sleep on his trip to Michigan. I did not. In fact, it became a very, very long day. I hope that next year I do something a little different, because that made for a very long day at getting up at 3 in the morning, driving a 3-hour drive, and heading to this conference, sitting through a conference all day, going to dinner, staying up at the bar, and then finally getting to bed almost 24 hours later. So it was a very fun time. Like I said, I wish I had vlogged more, but things just didn't kind of work out, and it was kind of a whirlwind. On Sunday, on our way back, we decided to head over to Lansing, Michigan, and go to Prue's Pets. For those that don't know, it's a very, very large pet store, probably the largest in Michigan, maybe one of the top in the Midwest. Very impressive place. I had never been there before. The place is humongous for any kind of pet you want. Saltwater selection like you've never seen. So I was very, very impressed with their stuff. We then took a trip. After we left there, we were going to be passing Dick Perrin at Tropicarium on our way home. So we decided to stop there. Now, I've heard about Dick Perrin for years and years and years. I've never been there. Been meaning to get there. Been past it many times. Kept telling myself I should stop. Anyways, Nick wanted to stop. Dick has some ties to Cleveland, and we wanted to stop and talk to him. So we actually got to talk to him. I guess a lot of people don't these days. It was very interesting to see his systems and how simplistic his systems are. And he had this Banggai Cardinal shoal and several of his systems, actually. And I was very impressed in how, because of the way they're co-culturing with corals, they're getting hundreds of baby Banggai just naturally reproducing in those systems. So it gave me an idea. I've been looking for something to do with... Sorry about that. I've been looking for something to do with our big reef tank. I would like to put it to something productive. So I've got an idea in my head, and I've been working out the specifics of turning our reef tank that we have here, which is a 7-foot fiberglass tank. It holds approximately 250 gallons, and it's connected to a 100-gallon Rubbermaid poly sump. I've got an idea, and I'm going to talk about and document that later. That'll be a series of vlogs, but I'm going to try to duplicate that, and if it works out, I may try to set up a saltwater pond later on and see if I can get a really large shoal of cardinals breeding and also co-culturing corals at the same time. So we'll see how that all pans out. That's kind of a winter project right now. I'll probably be starting to tear down the reef tank and making some modifications soon, but I'm expecting it'll either be early to mid-winter before I really get into the meat of it. So anyways, we had a very fun time. It was a whirlwind 2 days. I appreciate all the information that we got. There was some great information from Dan. Rich Ross, he gave some great information about cephalopods. Todd Gardner, Eric Castellano. I can't say enough about the MBI project. Big thanks to Chad Penny and Tal Sweet. You guys did a wonderful, wonderful job putting this on. Hopefully it'll grow and get even bigger, and we'll get more people even next year. And so anyways, take a look at some of the clips, and hopefully next year we'll see you. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. If you've got any questions, positive or negative comments, leave them below. I'll put all of our links and stuff in the description below, as well as a link to the Marine Breeding Initiative. If you're interested or are doing some of those, please come and post your information. It's a great community, and we'll talk to you later.
It's great to see you guys here. I think you guys all know I'm Fish Out. It's really awesome to see so many of you coming from all around the country this year. First off, I want to thank our sponsors, Breed Mariculture, AP Breed, Breed Nutrition. They are just awesome. If you're not using their product yet, you should be. Rising Tide Foundation, and partnered with SeaWorld. You'll hear about that later on this afternoon. Rod's Food, who has awesome food, I'm sure you all know. Mazda Speaks program has provided one of our speakers to come here. Mr. Saltwater Tank, Mellow Breed, Mark Levinson. Dr. Slauson and Smith, we got bags from them. Reef Hobbyist Magazine, ORA, Premium Aquatics, and Algagen are all sponsors of making it possible today. So we will be having a raffle. The raffle items are up here. You can purchase tickets, great break. And lunch will be approximately 11:45, 12 o'clock. So we're going to get started right away with Dan Underwood talking about seahorse.
Good morning. Forgive me until I get past my heebie-jeebies. I haven't spoken in about 25 years in front of people. I'm going to talk about seahorses. I raise seahorses commercially and have been doing so for about 9 years. I'm not a biologist or a scientist or anything like that. I'm basically an aquaculturist, or what I consider a janitor, if you will. We're pretty successful with seahorses. Most people have a hard time with them. There's only a handful of people probably globally that can successfully raise a very high percentage of them. We finally have broken through, and we do so. Typically, I look for about anywhere from an 80 to 97% survival rate with most species.
My biggest claim to fame a year ago was this slide, this 46-day-old Liopoma rubra that was up till then my record with that species. I remember reading an article in Tropical Fish Hobbyist from the 70s. I read the article in the 80s, but looking at this article in the 70s talking about some of the new successes coming out of aqualife and work by Martin Mull and Forrest Young, getting some angelfish and porkfish and other marine species through for the first time. Again, this question of why we haven't progressed faster in aquaculture has been bugging me for a long time, and it started really bugging me during my days at SeaQuest, when all I really wanted to do was work on new species.
Take care. I hope you've enjoyed lunch because it was my honor to provide it for you. And I say that because I absolutely believe in what the Marine Breeding Initiative and the Marine Breeding Workshop is all about. Captive bred fish is going to be one facet to have the saltwater tank hobby be sustainable into the future. And the more information that we can get out there through the initiative, through workshops like the one that you're in, the more success we're going to have creating these fantastic animals in captivity. So thanks for being here. Thanks for doing what you're doing. Now, before you doze off into your sugar-laden food coma, you're going to want to pay attention because the MBI Awards are coming up right now.
The first person we have is Mike Meadows, who's reached the fledgling level. Next person is Eric Osar. Next we have Daniel Walden. Daniel's reached the novice breeder level. Next we have Richard Ross. Richard's also reached the novice breeder level. He is also novel, so that's not really Freudian slip. Joe Thompson. Come on, Joe. And can we also get a hand for the top? Yeah. Joe's also reached the novice breeder level. So we move to the established breeder level, and our first person to reach that level here is Shannon Flynn. Next breeder is Kathy Lady. Also reached the established breeder level. The next established breeder is John Witt. And finally, the breeder who's reached the highest level here today would be Jim Welsh, who's reached the progressive breeder level. Yeah. All right, get a big hand for everyone here. Keep some pictures. Oh, yeah.
We're going to talk about non-fish, which is kind of exciting for me to be here to talk about non-fish at this conference, and so that's great. And that's a take on a Hustler magazine for cephalopods. That's me. I like cephalopods. I've got naked cats. I've got a daughter who's not scared of anything. A wife who is just like me in a sense, which is great. I have a big reef tank at home because I'm still dumb, and I keep that at home even though that's my job now. This is my breeding system at home, and it's funny because I usually keep it down to just this much. And I say I'm never going to add anything else to it again, and my wife says keep everything, and because some cephalopod shows up that I can't keep at work, and then all of this stuff gets trotted out and started up again.
I think you guys should keep clapping for Tal, and thank you for it's my first time here, so thanks for having me. I do work with Matt. I need to acknowledge him. He is it's in his contract with UF that everything that we do is to acknowledge it's his name. Well, that's a joke. I graduated. Craig Watson, who's our director, the guy on the top right there. He was looking for someone to grow live feeds and actually to come and start this marine fish program. It's about 2 years ago. That lab has historically looked at freshwater fish and not messed with marine fish at all because you got to grow copepods, you got to grow all this other stuff. And it didn't think that it was going to be lucrative for commercial production. That all changed when we started looking at copepods at UF, and then of course what Matt was doing was very inspiring as well. So Craig and Roy were some of the first people there, and then they hired me, and then about 6 months, and I was doing a lot of infrastructure stuff, a lot of building, a lot of elbowing for space, because it's a freshwater fish lab, not a marine fish lab, and we didn't have our own space yet. We didn't have our own greenhouse or our own live feeds facility or anything like that. So, Rising Tide was started in 2009 by SeaWorld Parks and Entertainment. It's sort of the brainchild of Dr. Judy Ledger. She's a vet for SeaWorld. And it's a group of research facilities and industry partners and public aquaria. Steinhardt's a part of that. And just to name one, Algogen is another, so is ORA. They want to create a platform for the open dissemination of information as it pertains to marine fish aquaculture. And basically, what that means is, historically there's been pockets of success. This guy did real well, but we don't know how he did, and this guy did real well, or female did real well, but we're not really sure how. And so what we want to do is we want to bring everybody together and just really have an open access information flows for the fact that marine ornamental fish aquaculture can get done and that we can progress past a lot of these bottlenecks. Our role in that as a stakeholder is to examine these target species. And the target species are pictured here. The stakeholder meeting, I think it was about 2 years ago, we all sat around the table and decided what fish, we have to have some sort of a target. As a group, we have to have a target, right? What fish are we going to look at? These are the 5 fish that we chose. I'm not really a fish head, I'm sort of a bug guy, so I was really amazed that it took 3 or 4 hours to decide on what fish to look at. But there was a lot of passionate responses about the direction that Rising Tide should take. But here they are: emperor angelfish, the Pacific blue tang, the yellow tang, bartlett anthias, and the Bangor cardinalfish. And each one was specifically chosen for, some of it is for can we actually do it? Is it going to be difficult? And then others are sustainability issues like the bartlett anthias and the yellow tang.